Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs for mobile optimized ebooks. Please install GKToday Academy app. Now, let's start. According to the recent study conducted by Swiss bank Julius Baer, which is the most expensive city of the world for luxury goods. So recently, Swiss bank Julius Baer has conducted a study, and as per them, Hong Kong is the most expensive city for the selected luxury goods, and Asia is considered to be the most expensive continent, as Hong Kong is on first position, while Shanghai is on second, Tokyo on third, and Singapore on fifth position. Now, Hong Kong was also in news as recently Union Cabinet approved the proposal for recycling of ships bill. In addition to that, the Cabinet also approved the Hong Kong Convention for Safe Recycling of Ships. The country's first of its kind exhibition on Indian heritage in digital space was inaugurated in which city? So it was inaugurated in New Delhi, and recently Union Culture Minister Mr. Prahlad Singh Patel inaugurated this country's first of its kind special exhibition on Indian heritage in digital space. Apart from that, the first International Heritage Symposium held in New Delhi. Union Culture Minister is Mr. Prahlad Singh Patel. The 7th Conference of Commonwealth Parliamentary Association was organized in which city? So this held in Lucknow, and it was inaugurated by Lok Sabha Speaker Mr. Om Birla. And the theme of this event was Role of Legislatures. Now, Lucknow was also in news as recently Health ATM was installed at Lucknow railway station. In addition to that, Lucknow is going to be the host of this year's Defense Expo. Also, the recent AIPSC, that is All India Police Science Congress, held in Lucknow, and Ms. Kiran Bedi was the chief guest for this event. She is the LG of Puducherry. LG stands for Lieutenant Governor. Lucknow was also in news as recently on the occasion of Good Governance Day, that is 25th of December, Prime Minister Mr. Modi unveiled a statue of former Prime Minister Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Good Governance Day is celebrated on 25th of December, and on this occasion, Good Governance Index was released. How many Indian astronauts have been selected for India's first human space mission? So 4 astronauts who are from IAF, that is Indian Air Force, were selected for the first human space mission of India. And these 4 astronauts will undergo a training in Russia for 11 months. And after that training phase, these astronauts will be trained in simulation of a crew and service module in India. Now, before this first manned mission, ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, is going to send humanoid to space by the end of 2020. Now, ISRO is Indian Space Research Organization. ISRO chairman is Dr. K. Sivan. It is under Department of Space. Headquarters is in Bengaluru in Karnataka. Which cricketer was named as the captain of ICC's ODI and Test teams of the year? So recently, ICC announced ODI and Test team, and Mr. Virat Kohli has been named as the captain of both ODI as well as Test team of the year. Apart from that, only Mr. Mayank Agarwal found place in ICC Test team. That means Mayank Agarwal is second Indian to get a place in this ICC Test team. Virat Kohli is the captain, and in ICC one-day team, Mr. Rohit Sharma, Mr. Mohammad Sami, and Mr. Kuldeep Yadav found the spot. ICC stands for International Cricket Council. Headquarters is in Dubai. Dubai is in UAE. Capital of UAE is Abu Dhabi. The recent conference of IORA held in UAE. IORA stands for Indian Ocean Rim Association, and UAE became the president of IORA for 2 years. Bangladesh became the vice president. The United States recently signed the first phase of historic trade deal with which country? So recently, US signed the first phase of historic trade deal with China. Now, before this trade deal, USA drops the designation of China as currency manipulator. That means previously US designated China as the currency manipulator. However, before this trade deal, US dropped that designation. Now USA was also in news as recently US President Mr. Donald Trump launched US Space Force officially. In addition to that, USA was also in news as US House of Representatives passed a resolution and submitted the articles of impeachment against Mr. Trump, and these articles were sent to Senate. Senate is the upper house of US Parliament. Like we have Rajya Sabha, they have Senate. So this resolution was sent to Senate for the removal of Mr. Donald Trump from his office. Now, it should be kept in mind that in case of USA, all the states have equal representation in Senate. We have representation based on the population, while in USA it is fixed. Each state has 2 seats. So the total strength of Senate is 100. Now answer in comment box, which article of Indian Constitution contains the provision for the impeachment of President of India? Alok Kansal has been recently appointed as the General Manager of Western Railway. Where is the headquarters of Western Railways? So recently, Mr. Alok Kansal has been appointed as the General Manager of Western Railway Zone. The previous General Manager was Mr. Anil Kumar Gupta, and the headquarters of Western Railways is in Mumbai. Now, if we talk about railways, recently, Chairman of Railway Board, Mr. V.K. Yadav, was given an extension of 1 more year. That means Mr. V.K. Yadav is going to be the chairman for 1 more year. He is the chairman of Railway Board. Apart from that, Railways was also in news as recently RPF, that is Railway Protection Force, was renamed as IRPFS, that is Indian Railways Protection Force Service. Present Railway Minister is Mr. Piyush Goyal. Which technology company has recently launched the new version of its Edge Chromium browser for both Mac and Windows platforms? So recently, Microsoft announced the launch of new Edge Chromium browser for both Mac and Windows platforms, and this Edge will have features similar to those of Chrome browser. Chrome browser is by Google. Now recently, one search engine was in news and it is OneSearch. Answer in comment box, this OneSearch has been launched by which company? The entire government of which country resigned recently after the constitutional amendments announced by its president? So recently, the president of Russia announced certain constitutional amendments that would extend his powers beyond presidency, and therefore the entire government of Russia resigned, including the Prime Minister of Russia, Mr. Dmitry Medvedev. After his resignation, Mr. Mikhail Mishustin was named as the Prime Minister, and recently Russian Assembly, which is known as Duma, approved Mr. Mikhail as the new Prime Minister. The President of Russia is Mr. Putin. Recently, Russia was also in news as Russia announced that all S-400 air defense missile systems will be delivered to India by 2025. That means Russia is going to deliver all S-400 air defense missile systems as per the agreement by 2025. Russia was also in news because of Power of Siberia. It is a gas pipeline between Russia and China, and recently it was in news as the President of Russia and President of China inaugurated this gas pipeline. Which Union Territory of India recently hosted the first ever Food Processing Summit? So it was hosted by the newly created Union Territory of Ladakh. Ladakh was created after the bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir into 2 Union Territory. One is Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, another one is Ladakh. The bifurcation was done on the occasion of birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, that is 31st of October. It is celebrated as National Unity Day. Now recently, 2 more Union Territories were in news, that is Daman and Diu and Dadra and Nagar Haveli will be merged, and this merger would be effective from 26th of January 2020. The Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory is Mr. G.C. Murmu, while Lieutenant Governor of Ladakh Union Territory is Mr. R.K. Mathur. According to the recent Global Risk Report of World Economic Forum, which is the biggest long-term risk. So recently, WEF released the 15th edition of Global Risk Report, and for the first time in the history, climate threats accounted for all of the top long-term risk in the report. So climate threat is the biggest long-term risk as per this report. World Economic Forum was also in news as recently it released gender gap report. As per that report, India is on 112nd position. Bangladesh is on 50th position and it is the top performing country in South Asia. Apart from that, World Economic Forum was also in news because of Global Competitiveness Index, and this index is topped by Singapore. Answer in comment box what is India's rank as per this Global Competitiveness Index. Alejandro Giamatti was sworn in as the president of which Latin American country? Right answer is Guatemala. So recently, Mr. Alejandro Giamatti was sworn in as the president of Guatemala. The former president of Guatemala was Mr. Jimmy Morales. Now, if we talk about Guatemala, it is a Latin American country. The official language is Spanish and the capital is Guatemala City. Currency is Quetzal. Which ministry has recently launched the Cybersecurity Grand Challenge Award? So, it is an initiative by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and for this, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has collaborated with DSCI, that is Data Security Council of India. Now, if we talk about cybersecurity, recently Union Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah launched I4C, that is Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, and in addition to that, a national cyber crime reporting portal was also launched through which people can report cyber crimes online. Apart from that, recently Union Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah launched Cyber Aswasth. It was launched in Gujarat and it is an initiative of Gujarat Police, and this project was created as a helpline for victims affected by cyber crimes. Which Indian private bank has launched an API banking portal with the highest number of virtual application programming interfaces? So this API stands for Application Programming Interfaces. So recently, ICCI launched an API banking portal with 250 virtual application programming interfaces, and this is maximum API clubbed by any Indian bank. And through this API banking platform, the partner companies can customize and co-create applications of their choice. If we talk about ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank and SBI are DSIB, that is Domestic Systematically Important Banks, and these are announced by RBI. RBI stands for Reserve Bank of India. Present governor is Mr. Shaktikant Das, and recently Mr. Michael Patra was appointed as the Deputy Governor of RBI. RBI has 4 Deputy Governors. So one is Mr. Michael Patra, who was recently appointed. Another one is Mr. N.S. Vishwanathan, Mr. B.P. Kanungo, and Mr. M.K. Jain. Which state recently launched a state-wide helpline for labourers called e-Shramik Samadhan? So recently, Odisha Chief Minister Mr. Naveen Patnaik launched the statewide helpline for labourers called e-Shramik Samadhan. In addition to that, he also announced a state corpus fund of 500 crore rupees so that the payment given under Mahatma Gandhi Narega scheme will be on time. So this e-Shramik Samadhan initiative is by Odisha government. And recently Odisha was in news as the Kalia scheme of Odisha will be merged with PM Kisan Yojana. Kalia stands for Krishak Assistance for Livelihood and Income Augmentation Scheme, and PM Kisan stands for Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana. Apart from that, Odisha was also in news because of Abadha scheme. It is a scheme to transform Puri into a world-class city. The full form of Abadha is Augmentation of Basic Amenities and Development of Heritage and Architecture. Which country is to set up its new research base, Comandante Ferraz Antarctic Station in Antarctica? So recently, Brazil announced that it would open its new research base in Antarctica. Actually, the original research base of Brazil was destroyed by a fire in 2012. Now, if we talk about Brazil, the president of Brazil is Mr. Jair Bolsonaro, and he is going to be the chief guest of Republic Day ceremony. Brazil was also in news as it was the host of recent BRICS summit. Now, coming back to this Republic Day ceremony, this year, Captain Tanya Sergil will be the first woman to become the Republic Day Parade Adjutant, which is the first Indian state to sign a Memorandum of Understanding with IUCN to prepare a Red List assessment of orchids. So recently, Arunachal Pradesh became the first state of India to do so. Actually, IUCN Red List is a list of threatened species of flora and fauna. That means of plants and animals. Now, for the first time, an Indian state has signed this Memorandum of Understanding with IUCN to prepare a Red List assessment of orchids. Now, the first orchid census of India was conducted by Botanical Survey of India. And as per that survey, Arunachal Pradesh have highest species of orchids. Now, Arunachal Pradesh was also in news as recently the first Hindi newspaper of Arunachal Pradesh was launched, and the name of this newspaper is Arun Bhumi. Arunachal Pradesh was also in news as recently the Legislative Assembly of Arunachal Pradesh adopted new logo, and this logo consists of national emblem and the state flower of Arunachal Pradesh, and the state flower is foxtail orchid. The cabinet of which state recently approved a commissionerate system of policing to give more powers to the police officers, and this is to be implemented in 2 cities of this state. So right answer is Uttar Pradesh, and recently Uttar Pradesh cabinet approved implementation of the commissionerate system in 2 cities. One is Lucknow and another one is Noida. So the commissionerate system would be implemented in these 2 cities, and for that recently IPS officer Mr. Sujit Pandey was appointed as the commissioner of Lucknow, and Mr. Alok Singh was appointed as the commissioner of Noida. Now, if we talk about police, India's first Central Police University will be in Greater Noida. Apart from that, recently the All India Police Science Congress held in Lucknow, and recently a list of best police stations was released, and as per that list, Aberdeen Police Station in Andaman and Nicobar Islands is the best police station of India. The Central Adoption Resource Authority, that is CARA, recently celebrated its 5th annual day. CARA is a statutory body of which ministry? So it is a statutory body of Ministry of Women and Child Development, and it is the nodal body for the adoption of children. Now, it should be kept in mind that in 2003, India ratified the Hague Convention for inter-country adoption. Now, recently CARA was in news as it celebrated its 5th annual day. The present Minister of Women and Child Development is Ms. Smriti Irani. Her constituency is Amethi. Amethi is in Uttar Pradesh. So these were the most important questions of today's quiz. Thank you, and that's all for the day.